Hi guys, I wanted to jump on here again and answer some of these questions about, relocation to Naples or moving to Naples. And there's a lot of questions out there. People have questions, and that's great. You should always ask questions and continue to ask them. Don't let anybody make you feel like you can't ask questions. Ask, and ask again. Doesn't matter what you think they may be thinking about your questions or how many times you've asked it, or they're thinking, oh well, maybe I've already answered his question or her question. It doesn't matter. Ask. This is about you. This is not about the agent. This is not about anybody else but you and your family. Okay. So one of the other things that people ask for is, what is the lifestyle like down in Naples, Florida? Well, it depends whether you're moving down here, you're vacationing down here, you're visiting somebody. It's different for everyone. But it is a great place to be. It's lots of eateries, lots of shops. Yes, there are eateries and restaurants and shops, for everybody's budget. So while Naples is known for its, money and being expensive, I'm with you. I'm right there with you. But it can also be very easy going for people who are a bit more on a budget. Wonderful beaches, wonderful parks. There's all kinds of things to do here. So basically, what is the lifestyle like? Well, the short answer is it's relaxed. It's a coastal, town. Most people come down in the winter time. That's when it's the busiest, and that's when it brings the most energy, and obviously the traffic and a big spike in population. But a lot of people are also looking for, real estate down here. Maybe it's a short-term rental, maybe it's a long-term rental, maybe it's an investment, maybe they're moving down here to relocate for schools, business, whatever. But the weather is the biggest lifestyle factor, I believe. And October through April are warm, sunny, and dry. Most people move here to get away from those cold winters up north and the snow and the ice. Your average temperature here, October through April, 70s and 80s with very low humidity. So it's really nice and comfortable for just about anyone's likes or needs. Now, May through September, it gets quite hot. And we can also have a chance of rain just about any afternoon. It's very humid down here. The average temperature is probably in the low 90s. With the real feel up around 100 degrees. Humidity's a big factor down here. Hurricane season runs June through November, but it doesn't really hit here directly very often. Now, in the last few years, yes, it has, but that's not the norm. So it's Florida. You're gonna get hurricanes north, central, south, anywhere. There's gonna be hurricanes, but it's not something that's gonna hit the area every single year. And you think, oh my gosh, we don't want to be there. That's just not the case. So whatever you may have heard on the media, and you hear a lot of these fear factors, don't believe it. Do some research, ask the questions, and I'll get you, more of an answer that is fact based versus just using fear. Okay. Now the seasonal traffic, like I said, when you're down here in the wintertime, usually January through April, it's crazy. I'm sure you've heard about it online or in the news, but the traffic down here it's pretty crazy, and it can take you a bit to get just about anywhere. Um, Especially if you're going out to eat or to the beaches. So keep that in mind. But now during off season, May through October, pretty easy going. The locals love the time here because the reservations are easy to make. You can get into the restaurants, you can go shopping. You're not fighting the traffic nearly as bad. So, those are the time frames to keep in mind when you are coming down here. Now, the pace of life is known for slow upscale. That's, you know, everybody thinks, oh my gosh, you have to have a ton of cash. Yes and no. Like I said, there's a little bit for everybody It depends on just where you're at and where you go. The outdoor activities they dominate are golf, boating, beach life, dining, that kind of stuff. So that's going to be the predominant thing to do activity wise outside here. Nightlife does exist, but it is more refined than high energy. So if you're, I don't know, 45 and under, and you're looking for that nightlife, you're probably going to want to go a bit more north. Naples is not known for that high energy, very late night, young crowd. So not something you're going to want to do if you're down here in Naples, if you're into the nightlife. What I think surprises most people is the difference between the season that we're in with snowbirds versus off season, because it's so dramatic. And if you're not from here and you don't come here during the off season, or you don't come here during the in season, you don't see those differences, but they are drastic. The summers are hotter, just like it's Florida. It's going to get hot and humid. So when you come down here, be prepared. But many residents will schedule their, walks, bike rides, tennis, pickleball, going to the beach, usually either in the early mornings or in the evenings in the summer to kind of beat that afternoon heat. So your simple takeaway is, winters feel like a luxury resort town and summers feel like more of a laid-back local beach type of town. So depending on what you like and when you want to be here, that's what you're looking at, okay? So if you have any other questions and you want to potentially think about moving here long-term, or you want to do it short-term, feel free to reach out to me. My website, it's in the description. You can comment, and we'll go from there. And, I would love to be able to help anybody out that needs it, or just answer your questions. All right, till next time.